Do you want to get married?
Sure, I guess. I mean, I always pictured myself with a man who made a bit more money and knew how to cook, but I suppose you'll do.
Yeah, you're not really the kind of woman I pictured myself with either, but I mostly tolerate your company.
Let's get married then.
That's not right, is it? Because you need at least 3 people to play Catan. My client broke every bone in their body after tripping and falling on a component from your board game. We are prepared to sue you for $100 million billion trillion. We would prefer to keep this outside of the courtrooms and are prepared to offer you what we believe to be a generous settlement of 2 bricks and 1 ore. I think we should take it. That really doesn't feel right either. Let me have one more go at this. The people of Catan have been at war for too long. It's time to end this conflict.
You're right. Too many have suffered. We want the fighting to end also.
So have we reached a settlement?
Aye, we have.
Now that we've got that out of the way, who fancies a board game?
Yes. Oh, that sounds lovely. He keeps building where I want to go. He used a Monopoly card to take everything I have. I'll kill you! I'll kill your whole family!
For the 2 or 3 people who may be confused, the Settlers of Catan is a board game that was released in 1995. The same game was re-released as simply Catan in 2015. Mine is the 2007 edition, still titled The Settlers of Catan, and I'm not going to be getting the new one because I'm very poor. My house is overrun with wild animals that won't move even though I'm trying to make a video. Please move, get off the table, move, get off the table. Whilst enjoying Catan is by no means a controversial opinion, there are many who see this game as outdated, obsolete, or just a bad game. Catan is often described as a gateway game, a little normie game that you play to be discarded once you start playing the real games. But I think that's doing it a huge disservice. Gateway games can be a lot of fun. So let's talk about Catan.
Why do you keep saying Catan? It's Catan, you posh twat.
No, it's called Catan.
It's pronounced Catan. It's like Satan, but with a C.
Okay.
They say if you roll a 7 666 times in the same game, the Dark Lord Catan will appear, steal all our resources and destroy us all!
Okay, according to Google, we've got a British pronunciation
Catan
and an American pronunciation.
Catan.
It's definitely not the thing he said. The island of Catan is divided into 6 terrain types. 5 of those terrains produce resources. Hills produce brick, forests produce lumber, fields produce grain, pastures produce wool, and mountains produce ore. The 6th terrain is the desert, which doesn't do anything. It's just full of useless sand. What are you going to do with that? Build a sand castle?
You can make glass with sand. That could be useful.
Well, I don't think glass is really a priority when you're starting out on an island, is it?
Cement is made of sand, which in turn makes concrete. That could be good for making roads.
A road is made with a brick and a lumber. Obviously, concrete.
Silicon comes from sand, which can be used to make microchips, to make computers and smartphones and all sorts of useful things.
The desert does nothing!
Each turn will begin with the players rolling 2 dice and totaling the values. Terrain associated with that value will then produce resources for anyone lucky enough to have settlements there. The mathematicians among you will have no doubt already realised that means that the terrain hexes are not equal. This is going to produce resources a whole lot more frequently than this. This means the most bountiful spots on the board are going to be in high contention, and it'll be a race for players to get there as quickly as they can. How do they do this? With the first of our building options, the aforementioned road.
So we're going to have a go at building a road. I've got my brick, I've got my lumber. Let's see what happens. A road. Get out of the road, you idiot!
They say all roads lead to Rome, but in Catan, all roads lead to Catan, starting in Catan via Catan. The point is, roads are great, but we need somewhere worth going. That's where settlements come in. Using a brick, a lumber, a grain, and a wool, players can build a settlement. And that's why it's called Settlers of Catan, because they build settlements. Oh, it's obvious when you think about it.
So I've got my brick, my lumber, my wool, and there's some grain. One settlement. I'd live here. I'd settle down here. Got lots of fresh air, nice views. Good settlement.
That settlement has now been listed at £550,000. That's actually quite cheap for around here. A settlement will yield 1 resource per dice roll, but a city will yield 2. That means that a hexagon with 3 cities could potentially pull in a massive 6 resources per turn. Cities can't be built outright, but settlements are upgraded to cities using 3 ore and 2 grain.
So to upgrade this settlement into a city, we need 1, 2, 3 ore and a further 2 grain. 1 city. I quite like my city. 100 million children die of being homeless every second. Please give us money.
Spare some change? Give me your wallet.
Building roads, settlements and cities is the bread and butter of Catan. But there is one further building option. Using an ore, a grain and a wool, players can take a development card. There are a variety of cards in this deck, all with beneficial effects for the player, but the most common card, making up just over 50% of the deck, are the Knights, or Soldiers. That's not me being weird, the rules apparently can't decide what to call them.
So to build a development card, I've got some ore, some wool and some grain. I don't really know what I was expecting to happen.
Did somebody order a knight?
This is the Robber. This little devil, or Catan if you will gallivant around Catan, ruining not only your game, but your day, your friendships, and your life. Anytime a player's dice add up to 7, statistically the most likely outcome, a cat jumps on the board. Anytime a player's dice add up to 7, statistically the most likely outcome, bad things happen. First, any player with more than 7 cards in their hand must discard half of them, rounding down. The player that rolled the 7 gets to move the Robber. The Robber will block the resources of any hex it occupies. The player that moved the Robber will then steal a card from another player who has a settlement at that hex. If they've just had to throw away a bunch of cards anyway, that's a real kick in the teeth. If there's more than one player with a settlement at that spot, they're going to choose who to steal from. So now it's not just an unfortunate dice roll, it's personal. This is where the Knights, or Soldiers, come in. Playing one of these cards acts as if a 7 has just been rolled, allowing you to move the Robber somewhere else.
Aha! Found you! You're that lowlife who's been stealing everybody's resources.
Please, I don't want to go to jail.
Jail? Haha! No, we've got something much worse in store for you.
You're not going to cut my hands off, are you? I need those for doing things.
That would be too merciful for the likes of you.
You're not going to kill me, are you?
And make the settling experience more pleasant for everyone? Don't be silly. We're going to give you a slap on the wrist and send you over to a neighbouring part of the island where you can be their problem.
Oh. Oh no.
And when they send you back over here, we'll just send you right back over there.
Oh no, how awful for me.
Ugh. It's the greatest justice system in the world, I tell you.
Thus far, Catan might not sound too appealing, so we're just rolling dice, hoping our numbers come up, hoping the Robber doesn't dick us over. Well, that doesn't sound fun. Well, remember, this is a board game. It's not supposed to be fun. But there is a key part of the Catan concoction we are yet to touch on, and that is trade. Players are free to trade resources with each other and negotiate whatever terms they see fit.
I really need a brick. Has anybody got a brick?
I don't have any.
I might have a couple of bricks. Do you want some wool? Wool for a brick? Got any ore? Yeah, but I need the ore. 2 wool for a brick? Oh, I do like the sound of that ore, though. Fine. An ore for a brick. Oh, no. What happened to the 2 wool? I'll be taking 2 wool and an ore for a brick, please. Oh, come on!
Do you want a brick or not?
This is so unfair. I shouldn't be struggling for bricks, but a 4 hasn't come up the entire game. Yeah, that really sounds like a you problem. How about 2 wool and I'll do the washing up later? I did quite want that ore, though. 2 wool, I'll do the washing up later, and 5 real world pounds.
Keep going.
2 wool, I'll do the washing up later, 5 real world pounds, a shiny Charizard card, and you can sleep with my wife.
You don't have a wife.
Yes, but when I have one, you can. Dude, prostituting your hypothetical wife is not cool. Although, to be fair, it doesn't actually say you can't do that.
Okay, I will be generous. 2 wool and £10 for a brick.
Fine, 2 wool and £10.
My turn. Oh, I rolled a 4. Look at that, you get 3 bricks. As we all know, interaction with other human beings is an appalling experience that should be avoided at all costs. That's why, as well as trading among players, Catan gives you the option of a maritime trade. At any time, if you have 4 of the same resource, you can trade that in for something you actually want. If you've built at a 3-to-1 point, you can do that with 3 resources. And if you've built at one of these resource-specific ports, an amazing 2-to-1. So I think the logic here is that we're trading offshore and different trading partners can only be reached from specific ports. So for example, the guy that really loves bricks can only be accessed from this port here, because there's no possible way a boat could, say, reach this port, or sail around and reach one of these ports. Huh, I guess that makes sense. Look, I don't know how boats work, and don't lie to me and tell me that you know how boats work. The first player to reach 10 points wins Catan. Points come from settlements, cities, development cards, having the longest road and having played the most nights.
Okay, everybody, stop settling. Stop settling. It's official. We're the best settlers. How are you better settlers than us? We have a library. We built a university. Yeah, but we built a really long road. It doesn't even go anywhere. Yeah, but it's really, really long. It sounds like you might be compensating for something.
There is a huge psychological component to Catan. You need people to trade with you, so you're going to have to play nice. You don't want to soar into the lead too early because you'll paint a target on your back. Indeed, having the reputation or even just the demeanour of being quite good at board games may be enough to see you constantly bullied throughout the game. Catan is an awesome board game. There's enough complexity and enough unpredictability that it's always interesting. And if you are having a bad game, it never goes on that long anyway.
Ugh, I can't believe how many 7s we've rolled this game. Who are you?
I am the Dark Lord Catan.
What the?
I block all your resources. I turn all your dice faces to 3.5, so you always roll 7s. You will be trapped in this game for all eternity!
I am actually winning right now, just saying. Damn you, Catan!
At last, I am free to wreak havoc on this world!
Get out of the road, you horny idiot!